So that entire intro was shot on my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I must say, I'm pretty impressed. Now, maybe you're not a filmmaker, aspiring filmmaker, or don't need to use your phone to be shooting things that look cinematic, and maybe you're like me most days, a father, a husband, and a business person who just needs a phone that can do a couple of things and do them without fail. Take photos, make phone calls, have good battery life. Those three things are what I would say are the most important, so let's kind of dive into those now. So let's talk about the camera. It has a 48 megapixel camera, which seems like a big number, but really just means it takes very sharp images. For me in everyday life, that means I can take it out and take a good photo of my kids, and maybe they're a little bit further back, so I'm able to zoom in and still retain some high quality images. Now, I recently had a family outing when I was able to take some photos of my kids, and they came out pretty good. We had some family photos, we had some photos of just the environment, and looking at it, it just looks great. It's what you expect to get with an iPhone, and so the iPhone 16 Pro is living up to being really one of the best cameras you can get on a cell phone. Now, in addition to taking great photos, it also takes great videos. Maybe you don't need a cinematic video. You just want to capture your birthday, special moments of your kids, and just document your life as they grow. This camera is going to do that for you. Now, I have noticed that it does seem to have a little bit better autofocus, but the other thing that I haven't enjoyed as much, and this is really a problem with iPhones for a long time, is constantly trying to overcorrect. So sometimes the image is way more exposed than I need to be, and I gotta do that little click and drag down thing. And other times, I just don't know why it's doing what it's doing. Overall, the camera is amazing, but like all iPhone cameras, it does take a little bit of tweaking to get it perfect. But in everyday life, when you're just documenting and snapping photos of your family and loved ones, this is gonna get it done for you. Moving on to what I think is honestly the most important thing, the iPhone 16 Pro battery life. Bigger phones have a simple advantage, more space for a bigger battery. And this phone is just living up to it. I can honestly say that I can get a full day and then some off just one charge. Now that's important because if you're like me, when you wake up early, maybe if you're at to charge your phone, you have to get out the door, and you only get about 10 to 15 minutes in the car to charge up your phone, you can count on the phone not only charging up super duper fast, that will get me probably 40%, but it's gonna last you. 40% for me will last me pretty much all day. And so, again, there's a lot of cool things that you can use your phone for. For me, it really is a big deal. Being able to get a full day out of my battery, it matters. And so when I'm not having to run around and charge up my phone, or when I can know I can let my kids watch an episode of Bluey and not have to find a charger or have it die in the middle of an episode, it really makes a difference for my day-to-day life and makes my life a little bit easier. Next up, screen size. iPhone 16 Pro, I have really enjoyed the screen size. Not because it's so much larger than the iPhone 13 Pro that I had before, but just because it's a nice size. To nerd out a little bit, the refresh rate has been improved, but honestly, for just somebody like myself who wants a big screen to look at videos that I've created, share photos, look at things with my kids, like the screen is great. And again, to get this size screen and the battery life, I can't complain. It's been really amazing. One thing I loved about having this bigger screen is that when my kids want to watch a show, I don't have to worry about them fighting over the screen. I can set it up. It's plenty big for them to all be able to see it when they're sitting together. And so nothing crazy, just everyday life, making it easier for me. Now, the iPhone 16 Pro has some other cool features like the camera control button, but honestly, I don't use it. It's not because it's not cool, it is, but just like any new phone, a new feature that I have to kind of relearn how to use, if it's not something I can just grasp and use immediately, my old habits will take over. I already have a pretty good system for taking out my phone, hitting the little camera icon and using it. And so for me, the camera control is a nice to have, but it's not a feature that I would say is worth getting the iPhone 16 Pro or Plus for. If you're somebody who games on your phone, I can honestly say it looks great. I played a little bit of Call of Duty, some 2K on it, and I'm impressed. As somebody who hasn't really played video games since the old Xbox 360 days, the graphics, I don't know, they look better. Like, it's pretty cool to see on a phone the technology that we have to make things look the way they look. And so I'm impressed with it. That's just a side note. I'm not much of a gamer, but if that's you, it does look good. From the iPhone 13 Pro, I didn't have the dynamic island feature, and I can say I really do enjoy it. It's surprisingly useful. From GPS to phone calls and being able to see who's talking, I really just think it's one of those features that Apple has really thought out. Now, this entire review, everything I'm talking about right now is before the iOS update with Apple Intelligence. I can imagine once that comes out, the iPhone 16 Pro will feel like more of an upgrade and I might have some more things to say about it. But as of now, coming from the iPhone 13 Pro Max to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, I'm not feeling like I've made this huge upgrade. I'm hoping the software comes out to make it like one of those things where I couldn't live without, and I'm questioning how I ever thought I could make a video talking about it not being life-changing. But until that day, iPhone 16 Pro, great phone, must have, not necessarily, nice to have, definitely. That's all I have for you guys in this one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.